Hello, and welcome to this brief tutorial about how to use the Mendeley software. So Mendeley is a great bibliographic management tool that will help you to keep track of various types of PDF files and documents, and also to use them to create bibliographies and things later. So let's take a look at it. If you haven't already done so, make sure Mendeley Desktop is installed on your computer, and then you can click on the icon in order to open it up. Takes just a second, and when you're within Mendeley, you can see the general interface. On this screen in particular, you can see you're able to set up folders to sort your various PDF documents over here on the left-hand side of things. And on the right, you can see all the different PDF documents you currently have in that folder. Now, I have quite a few in this folder. One of the things that I like about Mendeley is it allows you to search them in various different ways. You can search them by the author name, the title of the paper, the year published. All those are great ways to help identify which papers you are looking for your particular purpose. So one thing that's really important that you should do before you begin using Mendeley, after you've seen kind of what it looks like, is you should go in and go under this option up here in the very top that says Tools, and you should click on the Tools tab, and within that Tools tab you'll find a couple of things that you'll need to install. That is the web importer and also the MS Word plugin. I would suggest installing both of these right away before you get started. They're both very simple to install. The MS Word plugin will take just a second or two and should be fully installed. You do actually need MS Word in order to use Mendeley. The web importer is also very easy to install. If you click on this, it will take you to a web link. Let's do that now. And basically what it tells you to do is to drag this Import to Mendeley button to your toolbar. I already have a button up here in the upper left, but just for demonstration purposes, I will grab this little bar, drag it up here to the toolbar, and let go, and there I have my Import to Mendeley button. Alright, so once you've done that, it is time to learn how to import documents into Mendeley. So I'm going to go to PubMed here. We'll find a document we're interested in. You could type anything that you would like. For example, something like that. And you can see there's a number of papers on this subject. We'll click on the first one. Now, Mendeley is very good at getting papers from the scientific literature. It's very good at, especially at PubMed. So one way to import this document would be to simply go to Import to Mendeley, the new button that we just added. So I'll click that now up here. And what happens is when I click that, it depends on whether or not you have your pop-up button enabled or not. Sometimes it'll ask you to log in if you're not currently logged in. Just say log in if that's the case. Now, mine comes up in a separate window like this. Yours may actually fill up the entire window, just depends on your computer and if you have the pop-ups enabled or not. And here you can see it actually warns me that I already have this document in my particular library. Yours will not have this particular warning message. And then instead of where it says update down here, you can just save a new document into your library. So I'll just simply say update to simulate that process. And you'll get kind of a confirmation saying that everything worked. So now if I go into my Mendeley library, and I'm not sure where I put it, but it should be in either recently added documents or all documents, we can search for it. There it is. Centipede bite victims right there on the top. So I do have it in my library. Now another way to get it into your library is that I actually prefer is to go over here on the right where usually there's a link to download the PDF. So find a way to download the PDF. I'll download this one. This is from a Hong Kong Medical Journal website. So they actually have their full article in PDF form button down there. I click on that. And once this comes up, it'll give me an option either at the top or in some browsers it actually kind of will appear if you hover your mouse in this lower region. And then you'll be able to save this PDF. So I'll save it to my desktop to make it easy to find. Notice it has kind of a strange name. If you want, you can rename it. It doesn't matter for the purposes of Mendeley, but it may help you keep track of your documents a bit easier. I'll just save it with that existing name for now. And you can see it's actually on my desktop. Now, I'm going to add a separate folder here called Mendeley Documents, or you can call it Mendeley PDFs, and this is just where I'm going to store all the PDFs that I'm actually using Mendeley with. So I'll throw it in there for now. Open that up. You can see I have my one document in there now. Now, as you accumulate PDFs, all you need to do to import them into Mendeley is to simply, oops, go to all documents. I have a search on right now, which I don't really need. But you can just drag your PDF file into Mendeley and it will show up. And usually it will either be at the top or the bottom, depending on how you have things sorted. I guess I have it sorted in a different way, so you can search it. There we go. I have my Centipede Bite victims right there. Excellent. And I already had it in my document, so for me, this didn't really add it. But normally you'll add this in, and it'll be very easy, very simple to understand how you have your new document in there. Now, you may ask why I created a folder over here, and there's a couple of reasons. One reason is this really makes it easy to store documents that Mendeley is working with. If I were to delete that original document, Mendeley would keep the citation, but it would lose its PDF. Unless, of course, you've synced to the website, in which case you could have the option of re-downloading the PDF from the website. What I'm going to do, though, is just tell you that one thing that's kind of nice that Mendeley allows you to do is if you go under Tools, Options, over here, you can find something called the Watched Folders. And here you can enable specific folders that you want to typically look for documents that you'd want to import into Mendeley. So you simply have to click Enable up here. I'm going to go to the desktop over here and see here I have Mendeley documents. I'm going to give that a little check and hit Apply. That'll be good. Now any PDF file I throw into this folder over here where it says Mendeley documents will automatically be imported into the Mendeley database. So it's very nice. Once things are in your database, you can simply drag them to any one of these folders that you would necessarily want to put them in. It's very simple process. I don't actually want to put this in any of these folders, but you easily could do that. So now let's talk about how you would actually cite a document in Word. So I'm going to open up Microsoft Word like so. And what you can see is if we say, let's type a sentence. Here's our sentence. We're going to go into where it says References. And I don't currently have the Mendeley plugin installed. So just to show you how to do that, we talked about doing this earlier. Just go to Tools, Install MS Word Plugin. It'll close MS Word, install the plugin, open it back up, and now it should be very easy to cite things. We'll just go to References, and you see it has this nice Mendeley icon here. You click that, and if you happen to know something about your paper, like your author, your title, you could type that in here. Typically what I like to do is just click the Go to Mendeley button. Find the paper, which is right on top over here, because we were just looking at it. And then you go on top here where it says Send Citation to Word Processor. So you click this button up here, right up here, click that, and now the citation's been added. So this is very great. Now, some people may or may not like this particular citation format style. I think it's a little bit verbose and long. So what I'm going to do is, you can see here it's on the American Psychology Association style. I'm going to change that style. I'm going to go to More Styles, Get More Styles. This will tell you what you have installed already. The one I'm looking for, though, is Science over here, and I happen to know it's about maybe 3/4 of the way down this list or so. There are a lot of different journal articles that have science in the title, so occasionally this will take a while to load. You can tell that it is loading from a website because you see this little wheel running over here in the corner. Now generally this only takes a minute or so, but if you find it taking longer than that, you may have to try again later when there's less traffic on the Mendeley server. But generally it does not take too long. Okay, you can see here we're getting pretty close. And Science right there. I'm going to say Install. It is now installed. I go to my installed section, find science, and now I just say use this style, and it will be in use. Done. Now what I like about this is it's just a very simple, clean number. Now if we want to put in our bibliography here at the end, all you do is you insert bibliography here. And this will automatically be generated almost instantly, no matter how many references you have. You have 120 references, it'll just still pop this up. It'll all be in the appropriate order, either in the order of appearance or alphabetically, depending on which journal you're using. And it'll all be formatted properly. I do recommend going through your references and just checking them out to make sure that everything is as you expect it is, because occasionally, for whatever reason, Mendeley won't generate a proper reference for specific things. You can see that both this list and the citation itself have this kind of gray box when I click on them. That means that that's kind of Mendeley's sort of special zone, and it's a reminder to you that you should not mess around with that. If you mess around with that, you're going to screw something up. So, of course, you could delete it, but I wouldn't do any type of editing in there without proper experience. Alright, so let's talk about an example of something where you might have an issue with Mendeley citing something. Typically this will happen if you have a website, say, let's see here. Let's say you wanted to use the CDC as a reference and you found an article from the CDC that you wanted to import into Mendeley. I'll just go onto the home page here. I'm going to say import to Mendeley right there. And what you occasionally get is this: could not detect bibliographic metadata, or it may actually detect some, but it will sometimes be wrong. So you can save what it does have to your library. Here's the title. I will save that. Now it is in Mendeley. I'll go to Mendeley. Oh, here we'll go to View in Mendeley Library. It's on the web, but it's not imported into the desktop version. So I'll sync it with the web, and there we have it. So this is actually an important point. If you happen to ever have trouble finding a document, or if you're working in a group with other people, as we're recommending you do, you can go to hit the Sync Library button, and that should give you all the references that are on the Mendeley's website. Typically what Mendeley does for shared things and for syncing between devices, it will put all your documents on a website, and then it will allow you to take everything that's on the website and match it up to what's on your computer very easily. So here you can see I have this Centers for Disease Control and Prevention link right here, and it's not a PDF, it's a web page, and this doesn't have probably the right information associated with it. So I'm going to click over here on the right. This will bring up the document details, and you see we have a title, but there's no authors, there's no year, there's no pages, there's very little information here. It was able to pull some of the stuff off the internet, but not nearly as much as we'd like. So what I recommend to people is if you're ever concerned, if you're not doing primary literature sources, you can just simply go over here and manually annotate some of the stuff. It actually was smart enough to decide this was a web page. Sometimes you'll have to manually find web page from this list. You can see there's magazine, newspaper, journals, all kinds of various options over there. And then you can scroll down and just manually type in various types of metadata there if you happen to know like what the authors are, and you can usually find that stuff on the various web pages that you're interested in. Another thing that you can do in Mendeley that I really like is to annotate the documents that you do find. So when you share them, that you can add notes or highlights to them, and it really totally negates the need to like print out documents like you used to have to do. So if we pick a document, I'll actually use the Getting Started with Mendeley, which is actually the help document it comes with, and double click. And you can see it opens up like this, very simple. And if you want to highlight something, you just use this highlight tool over here, click it, drag, highlight whatever you like. If you highlight things multiple times, they'll continually get darker. So if for whatever reason you need a different color, you can do that. You can just right click to unhighlight something. Each click will remove one of those highlights. And the other thing you can see that we can do is we can add a note. So if we have a particular note, like this, oops, this part is really important, you can put that in there, and then anyone will be able to see that you have a little note here. And of course you can move these around and put them wherever you like. In addition, if you click this right tab over here on the right hand side, back to where we get these document details, remember this page, there's also the notes right here. And the notes that you entered will show up down here, so you can see all the notes you wrote for any document, even if it's like 50 pages long, and they'll all be listed right here. And you can, of course, manually type in new notes up here if you desire. If you happen to be using a Mac, things are generally pretty much the same. One difference is, and I don't have a Mac right now, so I can't show you, but Macs typically in the very upper top bar, they'll have a little, I call it the magical scroll. It looks like a scroll symbol that's next to where it says help on a Macintosh. It's usually about up in this portion of the screen. And if you click on that, that's where Mendeley's tools will be installed. So if you can't find it on a Mac, that's probably where you should go. So this was a kind of a quick demo of how to use Mendeley. Generally, you can see things are working pretty well. The final thing I'll tell you is when you're using this on multiple computers, if you want to log into your account, you should just go to Tools, Options, and if you go to the General tab, you can see your email address and your password will be here. You just enter that in, and then you can hit Apply, and it should upload your particular file set. So hopefully that helps you get started in Mendeley. If you do need more help, it does come with a help document, and certainly online there's a lot of Mendeley help forums that can help you get started as well. So I hope that helps you, and enjoy using Mendeley.